Verdade. All right, I'll call the meeting to order this evening. First order of business is pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the next item on the agenda this evening is the approval of the minutes from the July 18th, 2023 meeting.
Make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote.
Grand,
I'm not here, so I'll abstain.
McLean,
Yes.
Calvin,
Yes.
Parks. Mauer, yes. Upshaw.
Yes.
Dees. Yes.
The next item on the agenda this evening is the consideration and vote to recommend approval of a final site plan for 119 West Baptiste Drive. Glassmeyer Storage is the applicant.
Okay, so this is a final site plan approval request for a roughly 8,000 square foot open air warehouse / storage facility. The site plan was completed by Aubrey Enterprises engineering firm. Minimum site area required is 1 acre, provided is 1 acre. Setbacks, the street side are 25 feet, provided is 35. The side yard required is 15, provided is 15. Rear yard required is 20, provided is 24.81 feet. There are 17 parking spaces that would be available. It is gravel surface, and the LDO section 12.431 allows for the waiver of improving parking, loading, and storage areas by the planning commission. However, if at any time city council deems it must be improved to serve demands or deems it a nuisance, the parking area must be brought up to city standards of a hard surface parking area. So staff recommends approving the waiver since the property is in the industrial zoning district and is surrounded by other gravel parking areas. And the intended use is storage, so there wouldn't be everyday traffic. Buffer yard required is a 6-foot, 100% opaque fence. The I district allows for chain link with privacy slats. It's unknown, the applicant is here, so we can discuss that, what the plans are for that. Lighting right now is required, a lighting plan is required. Kind of, do you have lighting types with you?
I guess I was kind of waiting to see if it would go through, because it'll be supplied with the building, but I haven't really planned the building yet to make sure I could get there.
Sure. Public Works Director Kirk Reese was consulted for this site plan, and the only comment that he made was that it would be a good use of the area. So the discussion would be if the planning commission wishes to recommend approval for the final site plan of Glassmeyer Storage, Glassmeyer LLC applicant. Staff recommends the final site plan be approved with the following conditions: submit information to satisfy buffer yard requirements and submit information to satisfy lighting requirements. Have any questions on the intent of items to be stored or anything? Tucker can answer those for you.
I have a question, Tucker.
Yeah.
I assume this is west of Minden's building?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, because on this site plan, there's no streets designated where this is, because the way I see it, is this kind of in the middle of that whole piece you got there on the south side of the
It
street?
would be Ben's property line, so there's an old galvanized steel building that will be
Right.
removed.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, because on your site plan, it shows you, still you guys are the owner of Ben's. That's where I was confused. And then also in the top right, on the kind of, I guess you could say zoomed out version, it's kind of showing it kind of where El Patro is. Am I seeing that right?
A buffer
I pulled it up on the
shouldn't
map.
be closed.
Well, no, I mean, I know
Yes,
where,
yeah,
I personally know
I
where
see
it's
what you're
at.
saying,
But that's why I had some confusion.
the site vicinity map does show it on
Okay.
the opposite side of, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
That's where I was just trying to figure out exactly where everything was at.
Yes, he's directly to the west of, Minden's building.
Okay. That's my only question. Okay. Anybody else? Any questions?
Would entertain a motion.
There's one. Is there any problem on a heavy rain? That slope, washing gravel out on the street?
We haven't had any complaints of the existing, from the existing property. So the only thing different would be, this is all open. So there isn't a foundation being poured to disrupt that soil there. Like I said, there's several businesses, DC Solutions, not Trico, what is there's another business on the entrance of it. We haven't, Public Works.
Oh, the
didn't
county,
have-
isn't that mental health, county mental health? Isn't that
Elizabeth Lake.
Elizabeth Lake,
Elizabeth Lake,
thank
that's
you.
right.
Yes, so when I spoke with Kirk Reese, Public Works Director, didn't have any concerns about any sort of disruptions of the soil or anything.
I think it is
Yeah, that's
all
all question I have.
gravel for the most part, like Ben's property, that road coming down. And then all the new entrances that, I guess the city would put in on that street. It's all gravel to concrete. So
Right. I guess to piggyback on John. I mean, to fit a 200-foot building, I assume you're gonna excavate the hillside.
The grade will have to be changed a little bit, yeah. There's,
So is there gonna be any retaining wall on the south edge of it?
I think so. It
I
would
mean,
be,
it's Brant's old house, the little house up on the hill.
oh, well. I mean, I guess if they're needed, I don't know if there needs to be, because Brandt's, I mean, it basically goes. I think Brandt's house is down, is further down than this.
Well, it'd be up on top of the hill, behind where the proposed building.
So up on top of the hill behind him is a grassy area, and then it's the old Skyline Motel. He's not far enough to the west.
Brandt's is further. So it's kind of L shaped, I should have brought a bigger, one, but,
Do
this
you have access on yours to look up
north and
the aerial
south,
version?
it goes back way further
Roll it up.
than Brandt's would be.
Right, but I mean, the building's gonna be north and south, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cause I'm just wondering, I mean, by the time you get your setback off the street and then a 200-foot building. You're gonna have to excavate a little bit, aren't you? I mean,
So
Yeah, there's like,
there's 10-15 foot elevation change roughly.
there's 8 feet, yeah,
8 feet.
8
So
feet.
there's.
Okay. So I'm just wondering, like, per our LDO,
There's the.
if that's gonna, if that means you can leave a natural slope, or if it will require a block wall or retaining wall. or
Which would be, yeah, I mean, that would be fine, kind of like the one Bennett put in front of that green building there.
Double.
But I'm not planning on having, where the building sits, I'm not planning on having any elevation change. There's enough fall from there to where the new entrances go up that were put in,
Yeah,
that 8 foot of slope wouldn't be.
okay, well, that's why I was wondering if you were gonna just build the building with the elevation.
Yeah,
Okay, well, I meant like, are you leaving the current elevation, you're gonna build the buildings on the elevation? That
for
way,
the most part, it'd be the same, but I mean, that's, a little bit will change just from putting in gravel.
Okay.
The only thing that should change is like that last, so it comes up 8 feet, but it really just needs to have a natural taper anyways.
right,
So,
right.
So you're doing exactly like what is on 169 headed north of Spring Hill,
yeah,
where the boats and RVs underneath it.
yeah, that's the plan, yeah, just boat storage, small RV storage.
Well, that was my question.
It's kind of wasteland, so.
Yeah, so it won't
If he
be,
does have to, by the time he makes it fairly level,
Mhm.
you know, with natural sloping up to drain.
yeah,
If he, like you said, if say they gotta cut 8 foot out of that hillside.
No, we're not cutting 8 foot out.
Oh, okay.
No, we're gonna bring up just the front part and just have a natural, like, the 8 feet.
So you're gonna build it downhill with it,
Yes,
okay,
the 8 foot will be, that's what we're going off of, that'd be a lot of excavating.
right,
No, it's gonna be built up on that 8.
okay.
Have any other questions? Anybody like to make a motion? In that case, I'll make a motion.
Looking it up.
I'll make a motion to recommend the final site plan for class 1R storage with the following conditions of submitting information to satisfy the buffer yard requirements, submit information to satisfy the lighting requirements.
I'll say.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll put it to a vote.
Grant,
Yes.
McLean,
Yeah.
Calvin,
Yes.
Parks,
Yes.
Mauer, yes, Upshaw,
Yes.
Dees. Yeah. Johnson, it'll go to council next meeting.
Thank you. I need to sign that paper.
Please.
All right, next item on the agenda this evening is the consideration and a vote to approve a design review for Walmart at 310 Edge Lane. BRR Architecture is the applicant.
Okay, we all know Walmart is an existing business, 310 Hedge Lane. The business is located within the city entrance area, and according to the LDO, section 15-20, city entrance standards must be met. That would be item B, colors. The basic colors shall be earth tones or brick colors. Baptiste Drive shall use tones that are consistent with the hospital and high school. No important buildings existed as the date of the adoption of this ordinance at the other two city entrances. The planning commission should review the first buildings in the areas and select a range of colors that can be extended to the rest of the. Obviously, this was adopted in 1996, 97, so that's why it's like that. So attached are some building elevations. There's basically the exact same paint colors, just changing up the schemes a little bit, and the orange band is going away. And they are also changing signage on the front from Walmart with the logo to the main focus will be the logo in the middle. It'll say outdoor, and then pick up in on the east end of the building will now be blue, a blue band, and it'll say pick up.
Any question?
How consistent is this with the hospital and high school? As far as that much blue?
Well, obviously our school colors don't have blue in them, so high school doesn't have any blue. Hospital hasn't really changed since it was built, but I mean, it does fit in, it's like blue in our tone, so fits in as far as that goes. I guess it's important to take into consideration, this also was written in 1997, so as far as colors back then, probably weren't. I think more natural building,
There was a different definition of earth tones back then.
it could have been, but I think the building material tended to be more just. They chose brick or stone, and it wasn't, you know, mix and match more so like it is now.
What color is it now, Jessica?
What's that?
What color is it now? Blue now.
Walmart?
Yeah.
It's this one, the one on the bottom with the orange, this is existing, and the one above it where the blue. It has the big blue one in the middle, now they wanna do blue above the doors, and then the sign will change, instead of being.
Right.
Big Walmart, it'll just be their little spark, and then they're getting rid of the orange tower pickup. Brick portion here, and they're painting blue at the end of it.
They didn't repaint that all that long ago.
No, they didn't, it's been a couple of years, I think right before COVID
COVID
hit.
hit is when
And
they
then-
came in and had that approved.
Mhm.
And they
And then-
repainted it.
And then COVID kind of changed the way they do things, so they're getting. The tower doesn't get utilized anymore inside.
Yeah. Good question.
Walmart.
Anybody want to make a motion?
Please, yeah.
That one.
Back here. All right. I move to recommend approval of the design review submitted for Walmart by BRR Architecture.
I'll second.
Green,
Yes.
McLean,
Yes,
Calvin,
Yes.
Parks,
Yes.
Mallon, yes, Upshaw,
Yes.
Dees.
Just figure out.
Okay, we have, I think, almost 300 now, after I completed this for the day. Permits to date, we have a new building inspector, Jody Kemsey. He was the street superintendent for Public Works Department, so we interviewed and we liked the fit for him, so he started yesterday. The gas station up here on Silver Street, apparently they have scheduled for a final, so we'll see if everything goes well there. Sometime this week is when that's scheduled for. Next month's planning commission, we have some CUPs that we need to review if we have some other stuff come in. I know a couple businesses that are no longer operating, so we might just get rid of those. And then August City Council, 115 West Wea, the council voted to accept the deed from 115 West Wea current owners, Tommy and Jennifer Wright. So the city now owns that building. They've engaged with an architect and a structural engineer to put together a set of plans to put out for bid to build the building back, so. Not sure a timeline process for that, but we're gonna do that right now. And then the big news for today is Comcast is going to expand from Spring Hill down through Hillsdale to Paola, so it will be a full city.
So we'll have two to choose from.
Yeah. So,
Interesting.
yeah. Other than that, do you have any questions,
Good.
comments, concerns?
how about the structure on the south end of town that was? I think they were given 30 days to come up with something. I see part of it's tore down.
Yes, 809 South Silver. He has the full allowed permit days now. So as long as he calls for an inspection of some sort of progress within the first 6 months from when his permit was issued, then his permit remains open for an entire year. So he has an approved set of plans to build back from. That's where we're at with that, working through that one.
Any update on the other one down there for the cleanup one?
Old donut shop.
Yep.
Code enforcement officer has been working with him, which, given the situation with the building inspector, leaving earlier in July, he has had to step in and fill that role. So this past month, he hasn't been down to do, he's tried to make monthly check-ins with him. It can be a little frustrating sometimes, trying to explain to someone, you know, what one man's trash is not is another man's treasure, that, so.
Yeah, I know nothing's changed.
There are some things and behind the fence that he's gotten moved out and taken away, so yeah. Unfortunately, don't have a really great update on that one, but
I got one other thing.
sure.
Several people have asked me,
Uh-huh.
mainly people who come in to play the bingo, but on the ball fields.
Uh-huh.
There was a pathway poured from the swimming pool area over.
Uh-huh.
And my understanding was, or that's what I've been asked about, that there was gonna be, where the people could come up there and go between the two ball fields to the bleachers.
Mhm,
Well, between the two ball fields, it comes down to a little ditch where
mhm.
water runs.
Yep.
There's no way people can use,
That, because of the elevation, that's why there wasn't a sidewalk poured between there. And so that is why we ended up moving the handicap parking spots to the south side of Wallace Park Drive. But there is, you can still walk up and through there. I utilize it this summer when I was there for ball games quite frequently. I would park in the pool and walk up that sidewalk and then come between the fields. I know it's not the most convenient if it's just rained a day or two beforehand, but there's also next summer, hopefully there'll be more grass there than there was this summer. And be able to,
so there actually is no plans to do what the original plan was, to have a sidewalk through there.
there had been talked about, are you talking about original plans was with the city or original plans with the ball fields?
With the ball field, original.
There was
original
never,
plan.
there was never an original plan. They had thrown out options of what they could do to get handicap spots and where they could get handicap spots. And one of the ideas was to put a handicap spot in the outfield and then hard surface between there. But due to the elevation, it's so steep that there would be no way to effectively do that now. So that's why the handicap spots were moved to the south side of Wallace Park Drive, is because they could easily access parking there, and then with the new the new crosswalk created there, and they put in stop signs recently, Public Works did. So that would be a hard surface to get from handicap parking to the ball fields.
Anything else for? I take the motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
I was thinking,
Okay, motion and second. We'll put it to a vote.
DeGrant,
Yes.
McLean,
yes.
Callan,
Yes.
Parks,
Yes.
Mauer, yes, Upshaw.